All right. Well, what are the notable strengths of the Reformed Apologetics according to our authors? Well, Reformed Apologetics is really the newest of the four approaches discussed in this book, and newest meaning like within the past 600 years maybe, and is easily the most controversial and misunderstood. And I think that's very true, especially when it comes to either people understanding it, not wanting to understanding it, to characterize it, to mischaracterize it, or to not read the people that they claim to have read, who have helped to spawn this method. But even most of its harshest critics have recognized some of its strengths, which are considerable, and then we'll highlight just a few of them, they say.
Right. So the first one that our authors want us to understand is that one of the strengths of Reformed apologetics is that it links apologetics and theology, right? So it doesn't cut off apologetics and make it a separate, this is philosophy kind of thing. And, and over here is theology and the Bible and that sort of thing. No, it links them both together, right? So Reformed apologists have made a powerful case for recognizing that apologetics inevitably presupposes theology. That is, the apologist has a specific understanding of Christian theology that informs his method as well as the substance of his defense of the Christian faith. So we don't dismiss everything that we know about, the Christian faith in order to do apologetics, right? It's linked with all of our knowledge of the Christian faith. So, for instance, if one believes that all human beings have an inner sense of the divinity, the sensus divinitatis, right, by which they really know that God exists, right? If we really believe that, as Romans 1 claims, then whatever that a person may tell themselves or others, that will affect how one argues for God's existence. So if you really believe that everyone has a sense of God, that God is impressed upon them, at the time that he created them, then you need to use that in your apologetic method. That's the basic idea here, right? So the apologist, for instance, who has this view of the unregenerate person is not likely to agree, for instance, that the burden of proof on the question of God's existence is on the apologist, right? If you believe that everyone has this sense of God, then the burden of proof is on the person who is attempting to deny that, not on the apologist who's claiming, no, you do have that sense of God. And so this link then between apologetics and theology and this, unabashedly approach that says, I'm going to use everything I know about Christianity to make my case is, our book suggests, an important part of Reformed Reformed apologetics.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where maybe we see like, oh, well, I just don't have enough philosophy in me to be as smart as the people out there. And so we have this kind of idea of like, well, the people who are apologists are like, it's like an office. It's an unofficial office of the church. And you have those smart people that want to talk about modus ponens and all these things. And I just don't have that. I just want to present the gospel to my unsaved family. And I don't want to get in the weeds of this ipso factum, post hoc, era hoc type deal, and so it moves it too much to the cerebral. But then, when it comes to the evidentialist, well, okay, it's very, very good to have a good understanding of history and the evidences of Jesus' resurrection and being able to prove that the walls of Jericho fell and were on fire. That's all good. But then when it comes to things like, well, okay, that's all well and good, but now here's a moral issue that I have. Well, then I have to take off my hat and put on my theology hat. And so what is nice about the Reformed apologetic method is that it doesn't divorce those two things together. It brings in an understanding of God's world and having a coherent, complete system that you don't piecemeal out, that you have, and you're discussing it based on what the Bible claims about itself. And so when you do Bible study, you are doing apologetics. You're filling your quiver with information to present to the other side as well. We've talked about apologetics being both offensive, defensive, and that's helpful. And also, we can know things like, Philo talks about Jesus, or Josephus makes claims that help to bolster the ideas of the Christian movement that are very early. But then I don't have to separate myself from that when someone says, well, what happens if I lose a child in childbirth? Well, okay, there's no putting on a different hat. It's just rearranging kind of the question to still be there. But that's still a Christian worldview that goes out from those things and brings things back in. So, yes, I will agree with them. I think this does a good job of connecting apologetics and theology.